problem is I have to have it finished by tonight.
By tonight?
Like, I have to have it walkable, yeah, by tonight.
And here comes the rain out of nowhere again. How's that? $20. Hello. Hi, excuse me. I've tried knocking on your door. I'd love to clean this up for you for free and do all this. Doesn't cost you anything.
That's very kind of you.
Basically, I have a YouTube channel where I go around and I help people out with their yards.
I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
No way. If you want, I can tidy up your whole front yard. I've knocked about 5 times over the past few months.
I broke my shoulder, had to have a replacement, and so I spent a lot of time in bed or hospital. So the problem is,
What's up?
because it's been going so long, I have to have it finished by tonight.
By tonight?
Like, I have to have it walkable, yeah, by tonight. So
You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to be back in half an hour, and today I'm going to just come with my hedge trimmer and I'm going to trim it all down and take it away. That's fine.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
And then tomorrow I'll come and I'll sort the rest out.
It just has to go back to the fence.
That's
line.
fine. Give me about half an hour. I've got to go grab some tools. I'll be back. My name's Aiden.
Thank you, Aiden.
What's your name?
Mary.
Mary. Give me half an hour. I'll be back. See ya. Hello everyone, and welcome back to this week's free yard transformation. And boy, do we have a massive one this week. Let me just show you this property. So I'd actually tried knocking on this place multiple times the past few months and no one had answered. But today I'd actually caught Mary out the front here doing a bit of pruning and trimming back this green waste. But she was telling me that the council has told her that she has until the end of today to get all of this green waste and all of the branches back from the pedestrian footpath on both sides. So we have to smash through that because it's already pretty late today. So as you can see, there is a whole lot of trees and bushes that are growing like crazy from this property. And this is a massive property, so the fence line goes for a long time. And as you can see, we keep going and there is more overgrowth and more overgrowth, and it just keeps going. But I can see why this stuff needs to be trimmed back. It is growing all over the pedestrian walkway. We also have this humongous tree that is growing into the neighbours, but let me show you the other side of this place. So there are quite a lot of things that need to be removed from this place, but this side doesn't look as bad as the other side. I think Mary has done a bit of work here, which is why it's a lot tidier. But there is still a lot of stuff which needs to be removed, like all of this ivy here. And then we make our way into the property. And wow, we are probably going to need a lot of skip bins or trailer dump runs for this job. Look at how crazy even just this area is. So we've got a lot of grass and weeds growing everywhere. Needs a bit of a clean up along all of this concrete. And then we make our way to these garden beds along the side of this place. And this is getting very tricky to see which plants are where. There is so much of this oxalis weed growing throughout everything. I'm not actually too sure if there are garden beds there or not. I can't see anything. This lawn is also being completely overtaken by these oxalis weeds. And then we have these humongous trees here which are lining the property. We also have some dead trees and bushes which need to be removed. And I'm pretty sure that there's actually a stone wall that is running along this whole side. It could even be on the other side, but I can't see anything because of the weeds. But again, we have some humongous trees here which need pruning back. We have probably the biggest thorns I think I've ever seen. And then next to this dangerous tree, we have a date palm, which is extra dangerous as well because of the thorns that are on them. And this date palm is absolutely humongous. But then check out this guy. This thing is so tall. I don't think I'm going to be able to reach it, but it is magnificent. I think there's also a pathway that was supposed to go towards the side of the house over here, which has been blocked. And then we have more overgrowth which leads us back to the front door here. So when I first got here and spoke to Mary, she was telling me that she's on a time limit from the council and they have told her that by the end of the day, the whole perimeter needs to be trimmed back from the walkway or she's gonna get fined. So we're gonna quickly go around the perimeter with the hedge trimmer and trim everything back, and then really get into the detailed work after that when she doesn't have to worry about the council being on her tail. I also spoke to Mary and told her that if she wants, I'll help her with her backyard, but she's a bit weary at the moment. I told her when we finish this front yard, we can talk about that, but I reckon I'm gonna be able to convince her. And if you enjoy these videos that I make, the best way that you can support me and this channel is to just like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, enough me yapping on, guys. We're on a time limit. Let's get cleaning. All right, so we're on a bit of a time limit here. It's getting actually towards the end of the day and we need to trim both of these sides. So we're gonna quickly do that.
How's that? 20 bucks. This is probably the most that I've ever found in any of these transformations, which is pretty sad. reckon we just made it in time. I don't know how Mary thought that she was going to get this chopped back by the end of the day, but I'm glad that I saw her out the front there and we have fixed this up. But tomorrow in the morning, I'm going to properly start detailing this place. I just needed the sides cleaned by tonight. So I'll see you in the morning. All right, hello everyone, and we are back. It has been raining overnight, so it's a bit wet here at the moment. So what I want to do first is work my way around the whole side of this property. There's still a lot of weeds and grass that need to be chopped down before we make our way into the property. So we're going to make the outside look pristine and beautiful first, and then we're going to get in there. So let's get chopping. And by the way, all of this stuff that is growing along the fence, this is all coming from the backyard. So hopefully Mary agrees for us to do the backyard after we've done all this. So here we have a jade tree, but these are actually not trees, they are succulents, and they store a lot of water in their leaves, so they can go a very, very long time without being watered. And these guys can live over 100 years old, but I wanted to hand weed around any of the significant plants in this front little nature strip so that they don't get damaged by my whippersnipper. And here comes the rain out of nowhere again. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention, look what I just found through these gates. So, once again, the amazing people at Local Bins have literally last minute delivered me one of these skip bins. So thank you, Braden from Local Bins and everyone else that works there. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all of your help. But this is actually a secret area that I didn't even see when I first got here. I didn't actually think that this part was connected to her house. I thought it was the neighbor's. Then she's moved her car so I can get the skip bin in, and I've realized that this needs a big tidy up as well. So as soon as I've cleaned up the perimeter of this yard, I'm going to clean up this driveway and then we are going to work on the front. So this tree that we're cutting back right now, this is called a honey locust. And this is actually one of the most heavily armored trees because the spikes on this thing can get up to 8 inches long. And some of these thorns even have other thorns growing out of them. So if you thought bougainvilleas or roses were bad, these things are next level. So I'm just trying to prune off anything that may be in the way of a pedestrian, or if someone's walking past, they might get stuck or hooked on one of these. When we get to this thing, when we've made our way into the garden, we may be removing it. I'm not sure yet. So now there is no way that the council is going to be able to tell Mary off about her overgrown bushes on the side bit. But now let's go and clear that driveway because that is a total mess. So, spider warning everyone. I've just found a redback. If you haven't seen what they look like, let me just show you. Right through here, we have this fella. In Australia, we find a lot of these redback spiders underneath chairs or in sheds. This is a very common area for them to be as well, in amongst all of the leaves. I'm just going to quickly tidy this up and stay away from it. So, I'm actually going to get rid of this guy. That is what they look like. just gone down to the local steel store and bought myself a new blower vac, finally. That last Petra one that I've been using in all my videos is about 8 years old and it is finally coming to an end. Finally have this one and it is a lot more powerful. Just want to say a big shout out to Paul from the Prospect Steel Shop. He's given me a discount on a lot of my steel products. So if you're in South Australia and you need to go see a steel dealer, definitely go see Paul at Prospect Store because he is a really good guy and he'll sort you out. I'm also going to power brush this whole driveway, but I'm going to wait until this skip bin's gone because there's no point in just doing a little bit now and a little bit later. Now, behind me here, this stuff is called Morning Glory. It is completely taking over this tree. I can't even tell what tree this is because you can't even see it. But this stuff is found pretty much all over the world and it grows really, really fast. The flowers actually open in the morning, which is why they're called Morning Glory. And they come in a lot of different colors. But this stuff is growing like crazy all throughout this yard. So I'm going to try and get rid of as much as I can because as cool as it may look, it is strangling the trees and everything else. All right, so now you guys can see where this jade tree at the front is coming from. It's actually planted behind this fence in here, and it's come through this and through this fence out the front. I'm going to keep this tree here, and I'm not going to cut it because it looks quite nice here and it's not going to hit anyone on the pathway. Okay, so we have finally uncovered these trees. These are called orchid trees or bohinias, but they're actually not an orchid at all. And these things absolutely thrive on neglect and drought. But we finally cleared the majority of that morning glory off. We just got to get the last bit of it off this tree here, and then we're going to move on to the rest of this yard. Now I'm just going to trim a little bit of this jade tree because it is still getting a bit overgrown. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a prune on the outside here and on the inside. So I can tell that there's not supposed to be any grass in this area because I've just uncovered some stone edging on the side. So I'm guessing that once upon a time, this was all mulch and it was a really nice area that didn't have any grass or anything. So I'm going to clear all of the grass and everything that's not supposed to be in here. Got a nice mushroom here that's growing at the bottom of this tree. I have no idea what type, but it definitely doesn't look edible. I don't even know when the last time she would have been able to use this gate to get out the back. This morning glory is just growing everywhere and it is so dense. So if you haven't seen one of these before or you're new to my videos, this is what a gas meter looks like here in South Australia. And they are covered by that weird plastic box that was on top of it. Looks like it's just about time for another bin very soon. Now, I've just gone to the local landscaping store and I have got some mulch for these two garden beds. I think they're going to look a lot better now because at the moment it is just soil. So we're going to make it look better for Mary. All right, so the skip bin is gone and I'm gonna make the most of this time while it's gone to clean underneath and this whole area. I'm gonna give it a bit of a power sweep now because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be able to do that is. So let's get this place clean. So here, with these interesting flowers on them, these are called gasteria, or you may have heard of them called an ox tongue plant. They get that name because the leaves on this plant are very thick and fleshy, a bit rough as well, so they look a bit like an ox tongue. These also have a very unusual looking flower on them. They're pretty cool, and this plant is native to South Africa. Next, here we have a forest lily, and these are also from South Africa. Both of these plants are very slow growing, but they produce pretty cool flowers. There's actually some flowers over here on some others that I'll uncover so that you can see. They look like little lanterns, but everything is getting pretty overgrown with this grass, so we're gonna get rid of it to see what's underneath. Now, this stuff that we've just trimmed, this is called baby sunrose. This is another succulent that is native to South Africa as well. These have some beautiful little flowers on them that look like daisies. There's actually a few popping up in the garden bed at the moment, but these things are absolutely the easiest to propagate. You just cut a stem off, chuck it in the ground, and guarantee you, unless you have bone dry dirt, that this will take and start growing. And here we have, yes, you guessed it, another South African native. These are called geraniums. These grow really well in South Australia. You'll see these in a lot of gardens. These bloom for months and they come in a lot of different colored flowers. So they are a really pretty plant. But we're just gonna give this guy a little bit of a prune back. So that plant there, that is called geranium ivy. It looks like a mix between geraniums and ivy, but they are not at all related. They are another South African native and grow very well here in South Australia. Pretty much anything that grows well in Africa will grow well here because of the similar dry heat conditions. So that's why a lot of these plants are still doing really good in this garden. This plant here, this is called a canna lily. Doesn't look like it's in the best shape, but these plants come in all different types of colors. The leaves come in different colors, the flowers come in different colors. And no, these ones are actually not native to South Africa. These ones are native to America. You guys are definitely getting a bit of a botany lesson this episode because there are so many plants and trees at this property. And this guy here, which is the same as that you saw along the fence line, this is another jade tree. This is just a very small version. So here we have a fan aloe. These are actually considered one of the most ornamental aloes because of their shape. And this is actually a tree, unlike most other aloes. These things absolutely love the drought and they are native to South Africa. There are a lot of plants in this area, so I'm just gonna show you the cool ones. I'm gonna skip things that are common like roses and stuff because I'm sure me talking forever is gonna bore your ears off. Now this is a very, very cool succulent. This is actually called a starfish cactus, but it's not truly a cactus. This is still a succulent. It gets its name starfish cactus because this produces one of the most unique looking flowers. This is one of the largest flowers that a succulent can produce. I wish it had one on here right now that I could show you, but very, very cool plant. There was a really cool flower that I spotted just before cleaning near the front door. It's actually the same type of plant that we saw before that didn't have a flower, but this one has it. So look at this. This is one of the starfish cactuses, and the flower is quite small on it at the moment, but they look really cool. So once upon a time, this thing was a compost bin, but now it is just a hump of soil with some grass growing through it. So I might spread this stuff around the garden beds a bit later because it's probably full of nutrients. This tree here, which we are quickly pruning back, this is called a hibiscus, and the flowers from this tree come in pretty much every single color. This is a very popular plant, but fun fact, the flowers only bloom for about 1 to 2 days before they start wilting, so you've got to make the most of them while they're blooming. But I'm not going to work my way this way yet. I'm just trying to cut it back because I found a stone edging, and then I can start whipper snipping this whole concrete area. So this plant that is growing over everything here, this is called a virgin's bower. This is a very fast growing plant, and when these are in bloom, look really nice. These also use other plants as support, as you can see, and grow very fast when they do. But a lot of this stuff has to come back because it is just growing over everything. So I finally discovered all of the stone edging here. It looks like this is probably going to go around the whole of these garden beds. But before we get onto that, we still need to finish cleaning up this whole concrete area and the gutters. So I'm just trying to find where this concrete starts and ends, and then I'm going to take this away and start whippersnippering. Now, as you can see, we have a bit of lawn growing in the gutters. So I'm just going to try and get rid of this stuff because it looks like it's blocking one of these rainwater pipes. All right, everyone. That is me spent. This front yard is gonna have to be broken up into a couple episodes because it is a massive yard and there is a lot of detailing work to be done. But I'm happy that we've got all the sides done, the pedestrian areas are all good, the driveway is good, this concrete area is all right, and that side area is now all mulched and clear. But next week, we are working on this. This needs a big mow, and all of these trees and everything need to be pruned. There's a lot of garden beds, and then there's even more stuff out the back that way. This is gonna be a big one, guys. It is getting late for me today. I'm still gonna leave you with some before and afters. So thanks for sticking around and enjoy these. See ya.